Because I don't know who to blame in this contract dispute between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. At first, I wanted to blame Jerry Jones, but I had to pump my brakes a little bit. Jerry Jones, as we see, continues to discuss contract negotiations about his players with media personalities in the public's eye, right? For everyone to see and to talk about. Now, one thing is for sure, Mr. Jerry Jones is a businessman, and it's been that way for a while. And obviously, he's used to getting deals done. Ain't no secret about that. He's been doing it for years upon years, making plenty of players the highest paid at their position. Now, I'm about to play a clip, and if what Jerry Jones is saying is actually true about giving Micah Parsons guaranteed money, I don't know. Who do we start to point the finger at? The highest guarantee for a defensive player in the NFL right now is $123 million. And that was signed. And the recipient to those $123 million guaranteed is obviously, you know who it is, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett broke the bank with the Cleveland Browns. So Jerry Jones says he offered Micah Parsons more money than any defensive player in the NFL. More guaranteed money than any defensive player in the NFL. So let's listen to what Jerry Jones has to say, and he's talking about contract negotiations about Micah Parsons.
To give more money than has ever been given in terms of guaranteed money than anyone ever has as far as a defensive player. I've done that. Now, I am the cat that writes the check. Okay? Now, Micah's got 3 years with the Cowboys left. He's got 3 years. At some point, somebody has to have the say over the other. At some point, it has to be that way. My job is managing the check. Okay? Micah's got to do the playing. Where's the least important part of this whole equation we're talking about? What is the least incremental part of the whole equation? The attorney or the agent. Okay? He works for Micah. Okay? He's not the principal here in any way. In any way. They're in here to make their percentage. They're in here to basically, yes, advise Micah. Come over to the office and I'll show you exactly what I offered Micah. We got it in the back. It's with all written down, everything to go. Come down and look at that.
Get over there and see that.
Okay. You can sure look at it. You can sure absolutely look at it. Here's my entire point. Entire point. Who is it that basically says this is ultimately recognizing we're trying to come together for an agreement, but absolutely, who is it that can go with it? And so the facts are, I don't know that I've ever been around. I've never tried to buy anything. I've never tried to do anything that I actually was going to bring all of the services and somebody else was going to do all the money. But because the in-between guy wasn't exactly the guy that I had fit there, that kept you from doing the deal. Right. That's exactly what's happening here. So many times in this industry, you have a different agenda going on with agents. A different agenda. They're playing a game. You tell me, are agents incentivized to not only get the most for that player, but they're trying to get what? They're trying to get other players because they got a high agenda for that player.
Right.
That's their incentive. Okay. Attorneys, exactly the very same way.
Middleman.
And as you know, I do a lot of business. I do a lot of business straight with the.
Sometimes you have to take control, man. Even though you're hiring these attorneys and agents and things like that, everybody has an agenda. You have to figure out the agenda and you have to figure out what's best for you sometimes, right? Because if you are walking around ignorant, don't have a clue about what's going on, people will play games with you. They will, try to take advantage of you. So always learn what's best for you. What are you looking for? Not just what someone telling you is best for you. Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. You know what I mean? Vet the situation. You know?
Principals, not with
Right.
the attorneys. I do my time when the deal gets done face to face with the principal, not with the attorneys.
Right.
Not with the agents. So I'm just saying that nobody appreciates Micah Parson any more than the Cowboys or me. Nobody. Nobody has ever
Hello.
offered him more money than I have to play football.
Mm.
Right.
Period.
Say it with your chest then, Jerry. You know, one thing about Jerry, I can say, man, he's a businessman. You got to understand he's a businessman. And he said, hey, man, anybody that's doing work and contributing to his company, he doesn't mind cutting that check. And I can see, man, Micah Parsons letting his representatives make him believe 123 million plus guaranteed isn't enough money for the type of player Micah Parsons is. Because Micah Parsons can't understand that he's supposed to make more than $123 million guaranteed on his own free will. What formula is he using? What experience does he have as an agent, right? Now, it's typical easy math. You know, you just do 10% off the player's contract, who you comparing your contract to. That's basically how it goes. You know, the rookies, the first round picks, the first overall pick from each season, the following season contract is probably only around 10% greater than the following season. That's pretty much how it goes. And Micah Parsons' problem I can see with his representatives is probably he is asking for top quarterback money, and he's not a quarterback. And understand as a businessman that Jerry Jones is, if he does something stupid like that, he tears the market up. There's a market for everything out here in this world when you're trading and selling and buying and things like that. And there's a market in the NFL for defensive ends, cornerbacks, quarterbacks, wide receivers, so on and so forth. So Jerry Jones isn't stupid as a businessman. He understands he can't go out here and make these terrible deals and give Micah Parsons all the money he wants. If that was the case, I'm sure he probably wouldn't mind. You know? And Jerry Jones is basically saying us players that are hire our representatives to represent us, it's important for us athletes to step in sometime and say enough is enough. You know, no more negotiation. We're not trying to put any more pressure than we put. They did enough. Just go in and get the deal done now. Time to get the deal done and move on and go to work. That's what Micah Parsons probably need to do at this point in his career, or this point in negotiations. Because I'm going to tell you exactly how it goes, as you've seen with Cincinnati and whoever else came down to the wire, right? These owners and teams, they will hold strong. They will hold their leverage. They will, they will stay firm as long as they can. But as you get closer and closer to the regular season or the beginning of the season, that's when things start to move and the owners and general managers start to break, as you've seen with Cincinnati and things like that. Jerry Jones already broke because he said, I offered him the most guaranteed money out of any defensive player already. Now, of course, it's always two sides to every story. And obviously, I wonder what Micah Parsons' response would be. And that's probably why he decided to be quiet and said he's not talking to the media no more about these negotiations, because he understands what he say. He might sound so crazy and ignorant because he's repeating what his representatives and management tells him. And I would love to hear what he has to say about that, And if Jerry Jones offered Micah Parsons record-breaking money, this deal will get done. This deal will get done by the first game of the season. This is just how it goes. You try to hold your leverage as long as you can. You try to squeeze every dollar until you can't no more. But I don't see any reason why this deal doesn't get done. And Jerry Jones wants it to be understood loud and clear. As you can see, he doesn't conduct in any bad business. He gets deals done. That's one reason why he probably loves to be in the media and make sure, everything is exposed. So people can't act like, try to control the narrative against him when he knows he does good business. One thing about Jerry, he's a money man. He's definitely the money man. And if you're producing for Jerry Jones and his business, like you said, he doesn't mind cutting a check. He's been cutting the check for years. He said he gave Deion Sanders $13 million when he didn't even have $13 million. The team wasn't even worth $13 million yet. So that says a lot in the character and the business savvies of Jerry Jones. But let's think about this, because this is my thought process of how I see things, right? What if the Dallas Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to make the team better for the future? Sit there and think about that. What if the Dallas Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to hopefully make the team better in the future by getting all these draft picks? To me, I think that's a smart move. I think it's smarter than giving him a new contract, because there's a lot of pros and cons to giving these contracts. But how do y'all feel about Micah Parsons being traded? If Dallas can get 2 first-rounders, it probably can get 3 first-rounders for him. But if you could get 2 first-rounders, along with the first-rounders you already have in the draft, and more equity from other picks in the draft, Dallas can get some quality players to replace Micah Parsons, along with the same caliber status as Micah Parsons. If they luck up in one of these drafts and find them another Micah Parsons. And you probably could get 2 of them. You could have one on offense and one on defense. So when these players hold out and demand these contracts, I always look at the other side of it. Man, I can trade you and get 3 first-rounders and get another one of you in the next year's draft. And now my team has multiple Hall of Famers, all-pro players and things like that, The more great players you have on the team, the better. In my eyes, Micah Parsons is a great player. Don't get it twisted. But he is not a complete one. Micah Parsons is a great defensive end, but he's not a complete defensive end. And what do I mean by a complete defensive end? Yes, he's a flashy defensive end. He gets a lot of sacks. He gets off the ball. He's very quick and fast. He's strong, all those things. He's great against the pass. But if you run the ball at him, he's very average against the run. And that looks good on paper that you can get a lot of sacks. But as a role player, we have to stop the run to win games. Yeah, you're getting sacks and you're getting a lot of recognition, a lot of self-recognition, but this is a team sport. We don't need you making sacks all the time. We need you to make sure that hole, when you're running up the field, isn't left wide open where the running back is just gashing the defense for 10 and 15 yards every play. So there's always pros and cons to everything. So that's just my evaluation, my opinion. And that's how I feel about the situation, man.